This time I'll call the October 27th, 2022 meeting to order for the Dixon County Commission. Would you please stand and join in the flag salute? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On our agenda today, we have two items to add to the agenda. First, to consider a disaster resolution in regards to the Sunday Rangeland fire. Also, a resolution to declare certain items as surplus. And with those two items, I would move that we approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. The consent agenda includes the minutes of the October 20th meeting, also payroll of $462,058.41.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have the motion and second for approval of the consent agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Commission comments, Ron.
Just want to take a few minutes to thank the folks, all the firefighters that were responsible for working on that fire north of Woodbine, 1700 Avenue North. That took a lot of work and spent a lot of hours out there. And I think a number of counties were involved with that. So it's, again, a great appreciation from Dickinson County.
Craig.
Yeah, I like to thank the firefighters and stuff. I know that the Perry County and Morris County gave mutual aid stuff. So I don't know how many firefighters end up being out there. Brad, you might.
I don't know. I know that we also had one earlier last week down by Marion County that we sent a number of trucks down to.
Okay.
A big one. So things are dry out there, but I know we had fire departments from clear to north end of our county were down there as well as others. So.
Well, and I'm not making light of the fact is that we'll be in this commission in the next 7 or 8 years, but I think we're going to have to reorganize our county and maybe go with county unit eventually.
For firefighting.
Yeah. I mean,
We do have the ability to, it's kind of interesting, but we can page individually the fire departments, which we normally do if they're needed. Years ago, we started putting a plan together, and it's pretty much in place now to where we can set up one page, activates every pager in the county, every one of the firefighters, hundreds of them. And that was the first time Sunday that we had actually utilized that other than a test. So they put a page out, what we call the all-call page. We put that page out to request any available units from mutual aid. And so all 12 of our fire departments were paged. And anybody that had available resources sent them. So because the way the wind was blowing, it was getting down in the timber, who knows how far it's gone.
well, soybean field, if it gets down in a soybean field, it's just like,
Gasoline, yeah.
So do I.
Yeah, so, but the guys did a good job of getting it controlled. So kudos to them.
that's all I have. Man.
Okay.
Oh, there's nothing on the computer.
And earlier today, I did attend the Military Affairs Council breakfast over at Fort Riley, and it's kind of a community partnership. They organize that, but they have people from Clay County, Dixon County, mostly Junction City and Fort Riley area, and a few from Manhattan. And they had a speaker, Valley of Hope, which has a place in Norton, also Mound Ridge, and throughout the Central States region, and specifically some of the services available to the soldiers when it comes to areas of addiction. And so anyway, it was a good program to hear. And also they are in the process of having Operation Santa Claus, where people can donate gifts for children or money. And there's so many of the Fort Riley people that are in deployment right now. And so they're just kind of looking out and trying to help the families, and also made me aware of a job service available, and they have a person dedicated for the Fort Riley Transition Assistance Program. And they're going to have a job fair and looking for employers that might have some job opportunities. And a lot of times when they do transition, they decide to stay in the area. And we have a number in Dixon County that have Fort Riley connection. So it's good to be aware of that program. That's all I have. We do not have any petitions or proclamations. This would be opportunity for public comment if anyone would have a comment they'd want to make. So we'll go ahead and move on. And the next item we have, report of county officers. Brad.
Okay, we received an invitation, you did, to the annual Conservation Districts tour and lunch in your packet. We'll make your reservations if you want us to. So
Yep.
Craig and
I won't be able to attend.
Ron, okay, so we'll get Craig RSVP'd. And then that's on the 7th, so it's the same day as our city county, our regional county commission meeting here. So, and then we met, Janelle and I, Martin and Chad McCullough met yesterday with the city staff over here to do some finalization on getting our plans together on our plan is to apply for one of the BIL grants for the upcoming year for that Northwest 14th Street bridge and corridor from where the city will stop, we're out to at least Washington Street for the first segment, which would include the bridge, the bridge out there. And there was a question about how we would transition from their project to ours. And we wanted to make sure that we had things that fit properly, And so I think it was time well spent. There were some questions that needed to be answered. And the bottom line is the goal at some future time. None of us will probably be here, but that corridor clear out to Fair Road will end up being probably 3 lanes with Van Buren intersection squared up with stoplight and things. And so we're trying to prepare that for the future. And if with the BIL money being available, this is kind of like the WPA days when money was available around World War II, that we may never have that money available again. So we want to try and make sure that it is done properly. And according to Chad, the infrastructure money that we're applying for has a number of requirements that very few projects that he's aware of in Kansas that they deal with will fit. And one of them is working with multiple jurisdictions. Us in the city will be doing that. And it has to have a walking sidewalk and have some type of a situation there, which that one will have. And so just a number of things that in Chad's comment, it has check boxes that will fit perfectly. So he thinks our chances might be pretty good to get that. And we're also looking at including the water line that the city has that goes out there that currently is attached to that bridge, getting it put underground and then doing stormwater and stuff that goes out to that area of town that comes back this way. So it would be pretty inclusive. And then it would connect us to where we could do Van Buren on in the future in the next segment. And because as I think you guys know, that particular piece of road there around the bypass is our highest daily traffic count of vehicles in the whole county, with the exception of the state highways. So we've got over 4,000 cars a day, and most of the time 5,000 and 6,000 a day that travel on that segment of road. So yeah, it gets used very heavily. So
Timeline on that, Brad. I mean,
well, the application's not due until they're doing it. The first application was due September this year. So we're thinking that they'll probably make the next one September of 23. So we've got some time, but it's going to take some research to get it done. And so we just wanted to make sure that, and where it came up is the city's first initial plan transitioned down to a 2-lane. And we knew from our meetings, we thought we were all on the same sheet, but we wanted to do a 3-lane, especially in those areas where you've got turning and to make it safer. And so we didn't want to funnel down and then coming back out and things wouldn't match. So we got all those little things worked out yesterday, and talked about some other stuff that came up, and I thought we had a good meeting, so. We'll see what the engineers come back with for the application and sometime after the first of the year. And hopefully it'll be ready by mid-year next year to submit, so. And then next Thursday is our afternoon tour. And we will have some sandwiches and stuff here in the conference room to eat when we get done with our meeting, and then we'll take off and go look at some of our assets. As I said in the work session, Martin thinks he'll have a bridge that they'll be back working on 400 Avenue next week. We might be able to get out and see the pile driver working and see how that investment saves time and does things much safer. So we'll have that ready for you, and I think that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Doug?
We've been pushing on for the tax reports so that we can finish out and get on file our delinquent taxes. And so we're waiting for the title companies to give us the remaining material that we need so that we can get that on file this year. I don't want to have to go into next year on it. I want to get it done this year. As soon as I get those reports, we will double time and make certain that we can get that paperwork ready and get it on file. That we're coming into November pretty quick. We're going to be looking at a sale sometime in December.
Okay.
Question, Doug. Somebody asked me and I didn't see the personal property. How's that handled?
Personal property,
Yeah.
well, what we're doing is the real estate.
I know, but I know that. But they asked me, how do we handle personal property when it's it was in the paper. I didn't see it. I don't know. I mean, it said there's a couple columns. How does the county recoup or get that money that's personal property?
Usually in regards to the situation that you're talking about is the personal property is enforced by the various cities that they're in that situation. We're not doing personal property.
Right.
We're just doing the real estate taxes.
I know that, but I mean, in other words, it'd be the cities on their end. None of that was county then, personal property.
No, it was probably all county.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess how do we get that back?
The incentive for people to pay personal property is with personal property, if you don't pay it, you can't get your tags in
Right.
Okay.
For vehicles.
Get your tag recorded.
So the state puts a little bit of a burden on that when you come in and renew your tags. You can't renew your tags or get your driver's license if you own personal property.
Okay.
But they don't do that on the real estate because they don't prevent you from living in your house.
Right.
So
And we don't have any procedure that we go through on their personal property. If they don't renew a vehicle or need something for a title, well, that's going through a different way, different direction. Some of the towns have taxes that they assess to, in essence, a personal property tax, and they enforce those.
Okay, well, somebody asked me and I said, I have no idea how what the deal is, but the biggest thing would be if you can't buy a tag for your vehicle.
Right.
it's amazing how quick somebody will pay those.
Yeah.
When they come in and renew their tags and they tell them they can't until they pay that $12 or whatever.
Okay.
And a lot of times people just don't know about it, I think.
A lot of
It's a small amount.
Well, I saw one, someone's like $12 or
Yeah.
I think the biggest one was, I didn't look through the whole thing or after they said something, $870 or.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that is the incentive for people to pay them, but we don't go out and go after them like we do real estate tax.
And then when we handle it, in some of the situations, because they didn't go do it, didn't get the tag, they wind up getting a ticket and then they come into municipal court and then almost always tell them the same thing. If you go and get this thing taken care of and you bring it back in showing that you have got that taken care of, then we'll try to work with you to eliminate the fine or still pay the court costs. Now, we don't do that on all cases because sometimes they're repeat offenders. And I understand it can happen. Something happened. Well, I didn't get the notice in the mail, so I just forgot all about it. Or I set it on the dresser and was going to do it and months went by and I didn't. Okay, that's all right. We can work around this. You go get it done.
Most of that mail is non-forwarding mail, so if they change their address,
Yeah.
like your motor vehicle and stuff, or your driver's license stuff, if they change the address, it doesn't forward, it gets returned. And then it's up to you to know it, and so. Yeah, it's easy to miss that.
Okay. Notices and communications. We had a letter from Senator Jerry Moran And just thanking the commission for the tour that they had of the Dixon County Jail and Courthouse. He said it is a pleasure to visit Abilene and hear about the good things and the community accomplishments. He's pleased that our law enforcement agents and correctional staff are now working in a very safe and secure facility. And then he said the work of a county commissioner is a tough job. So you must have bent his ear on that, Craig. So, but anyway, he was thanking us for our service.
I didn't bend it. I just gave him an earful.
Oh, okay. That's always a good thing too. We did have a mailing from Ingram's magazine, and I believe that's all we had as far as notices and communications then. We did add two things to the agenda. Actually, Brad, you had mentioned in the work study session, we give the gift cards to the employees. Do we need to do that by motion or just the same as last year?
Since it's an expenditure, we probably ought to do it by motion.
Maybe, I think we probably should take care of that. So, because it takes a little bit of time to prepare that, to get that out for mid-November.
I'd like a little discussion on the gift cards. What was the amount that we paid them last
We
year?
get $40 an employee last year.
I'd sure like to see them go up $10 at least. I mean, it's just a nominal amount, but I'd sure like to.
I'm sure there wouldn't be any employees object to that.
Do we need to, I guess, have any calculation or should we put it on the agenda next week and?
Probably $140 more. No, $1,400.
$1,400.
It's $1,400. If we got 140 employees, I'm just rounding it up.
Mhm. Now, one of the things on that, that we've done before previously, they're gift cards to the various grocery stores in the county, or at Solomon, Chapman, here in Abilene. And so it's money that,
Yes.
I guess kind of helps. It goes right back into the community.
It does. Yeah.
So, yeah, it would be, like you said, 144.
$1,400.
$1,440 more.
$5,600 versus $7,000.
Yeah.
But it is very much appreciated by the staff. I do know I had a number of comments on probably one of the things we do that I hear more positive about than anything.
But when we try to have like an extra time to have them come in and have a meal or some sort of a party, there's always those that had conflicts and couldn't go or would choose not to go. And so this probably has a little more equity to it for all employees. So it is $50.
I'd like to make a motion of
What's the
$50.
motion? Is there a second? I'll go ahead and do the second on that. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we did have a couple things that we also had added to the agenda. The first one is approving a disaster resolution. And I know you covered a little bit of that in the work study session, but Brad, would you want to expand on that regarding the rangeland fire?
Yes, the fire that occurred last Sunday afternoon down in Liberty Township was such that the fire got down into the timber and couldn't reasonably be managed by our local assets and the fire department. So Chancey had reached out to the state to get the air unit deployed out of Newton to do airdrops to squelch that fire down in the timber that they couldn't get to. To be able to do that, we be able to get the state's assets at no cost. He had to submit a verbal declaration to the state when he made that request. And so this is just a follow-up that started last Sunday, and it'll go for 7 days until next Sunday to be able to obtain those state assets at no cost. So, because obviously we don't have an air unit, don't have an air tanker. And so it makes that available from the state. So.
Well, and the conditions were such that day with the high winds, and I know there were problems in other areas of the state, but it's good we had that backup and the cooperation and kind of a plan of action in place for what if this ever happens, and then it did.
Yeah, the state had actually, the National Weather Service had put us in a red flag warning Saturday and Sunday, with Sunday being the high. So they knew that the potential was there. And so we go through the day holding our breath, thinking, hopefully we can get through the day. Well, we didn't get through the day. So, and I guess my understanding is there was a bearing or something on a combine that got hot and caught a bean field on fire that spread down into the timber. So it wasn't like somebody threw a cigarette butt or something out. It was one of those things that happened. So.
Well, there were no houses lost or homes or,
Right, no injuries, so.
or loss of life. So the resolution is 10/27/22. Is there a motion to adopt that resolution for the local disaster emergency for Dixon County?
I'll make a motion to adopt 10/27/22.
Okay, is there a second? I'll go ahead and give the second on it. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. The other item we had is that there's items and we need a resolution to declare some of those items as surplus. And Brad, you might explain kind of the procedure on that, the purpose of it.
Yeah, if anything that's valued less than $50,000, you would do an administrative resolution to declare those surplus. Once that's passed, then we contact the public, we can sell them at a public auction, which purplewave.com is considered a public auction. They'll come out, list those for us, sell them on one of their government auction sites, and we will get the remittance back from what those sell for. So we do have the vehicle that we replaced with this last purchase for Road and Bridge. And then we've got, I think they had another piece of equipment down there that is no longer used. And then we've got some office dividers and stuff that were utilized during the transition when we had district court out at Sterling Hall that are no longer of use to us. So a door that was ordered wrong for the project here, it's a brand new steel door, just things like that. Kind of like the vault doors that we held on to. They have a little bit of value. I hate to see them go, so we'll sell them. Doesn't cost us anything to sell them on Purple Wave. They waive the fee for government entities, so it's just a matter of having them come out, list it, and then get the money out of it. So.
Okay,
And you don't want to sit around here very long without moving, or we're liable to sell you. So.
Useful.
okay, so the resolution on that is 10/27/22A. Is there a motion to adopt that resolution?
So moved.
I'll second it.
We've got the motion and second that we adopt resolution 10/27/22A. That was to declare the listed items as surplus for sale at Purple Wave. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. There's no other business. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second it.
We've got the motion and the second to adjourn. Any other discussion?
Do we have a special meeting?
No.
I'll second it.
Okay. So we have the motion and the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.